John, if you have a saying.
It's 5:30. We'll call the meeting to order. Would you please stand and salute the United States flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. And now Dr. Sanderson will lead us in a prayer.
Please join me in prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for all the wonderful rain you've blessed us with recently. Thank you for bringing us together to help support Gatesville ISD and its students and staff and everyone involved. Be with us as we make decisions tonight. Watch over us and keep us safe as we go throughout the rest of the summer. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
We've got a couple of recognitions tonight. We'll start with a Hornet legend, and then we also have a student recognition, so we're excited about that. So we'll start with Coach Rantham. Coach Rantham is here tonight, and he is a legend. He graduated from Holland High School. I read all about Elton in his employee file. Graduated there in '57, got his associate's degree at Navarro Junior College. Then he graduated from Texas A&M in 1963 with a major in health and physical education. And his secondary teaching field was biology. And Calvin Ford said that he was the best biology teacher he ever had. Really enjoyed his time. And Calvin was sad he couldn't be here today. He really thought a lot of Coach Rantham. Elton and his wife Pat had 5 children: Ricky, Gary, Sherry, Patty, and Bobby. And then from '63 to '68, Elton worked at Clean ISD, where he was a track coach at Clean High. He then taught at Rogers from '68 to '78, where he was the head basketball coach. Then he went to Academy from '78 to '85, where he was the head coach and athletic director. And then finally in 1985, Coach Rantham came to the Gatesville Hornets, and he taught biology and PE and coached football, and he served there until he retired in 1997. And I always like looking back at some of the old evaluations, what the principals said about these guys. And Principal Bill Bradley wrote, Coach Rantham communicates well with kids and can relate to their experiences. His outgoing presentation keeps students' attention. Your enthusiasm goes hand in hand with the encouragement, praise, and rapport you have with students. And Principal Lambert wrote, you praise the students frequently and motivate them with your encouragement. As usual, you're very well organized. The lesson was interesting, and I've never known of a discipline problem in your class. And so for all those reasons, we wanted to pick Elton Rantham as a Hornet legend. So Coach, you have any words of wisdom for us? No.
I'm still learning.
You're still learning? Well, Coach is part of a small but elite group of people. Every summer in June and July, we pick a couple of retirees as Hornet legends. And so it's a short list. And you're in good company, Coach. There's a lot of good people. And so we want to get your picture. And the newspaper's here. You'll be in the newspaper, Elton. Congratulations.
I'm glad you didn't ask me them questions. I couldn't have answered.
Okay, right here, 1, 2, 3. Right, then right here.
Awesome. Coach, we sure appreciate you, Pat, for coming. That's great. Pat, any words of wisdom for us?
Good luck.
Any words of wisdom for us?
I don't know.
No. Did you tell the 5 kids that y'all were getting a big award? Not yet? Okay. Well, this was your post-Father's Day gift. Oh, and we got a certificate for you as well. So.
We coached that back there when he was
Oh, congratulations. You can hang that on your wall, or
Oh my
put it
goodness.
under the glass of tea or something. So. Elton, Pat, y'all don't have to stay, but you're more than welcome. But that is
1 minute.
the gist of it. Charles, did you get a chance to talk with Coach?
I did.
Good deal.
I did a little while.
Yeah. Lloyd, did you have Coach Rantham?
I did not. He came the year after I graduated.
Okay, good deal. Good deal.
Yeah. I know he does some woodworking. I've visited with him about some of that.
Yes, good deal.
I'll tell you a story with Coach Rantham and I. When we had the flooding here in Gatesville, and everything was out of the banks. And you couldn't go in by the Neff on that road. Well, he comes by and we're gonna go fishing. And we back into the bardage to launch the boat, and we go across this big field, and we get out in the river, and we started fishing, and we couldn't catch anything, and we're motoring there, and here was this ice chest in this top of this tree. And I told Coach Rantham, I said, I'd like to have that ice chest. So he motors up there, and he gets real close, and when he puts the boat in neutral so I could get it, I was reaching out, and that current sucked that boat out from under me. And I understand the river.
Yeah.
I went in head first. And it didn't scare me at first, but I thought, gosh, all this undertow in this river, I better get out of here. So I came back up real quick, and he run the boat into the bank, and I was able to crawl back in. Yeah. So that
Did you get the cooler?
No, I didn't.
Sadly, the cooler is still in the tree. Yes, yes. Well, in addition to Coach, we've got a student that we want to honor today, and it's Nevin Benning, and we sure are sad to see Nevin graduate and leave us. I think I told him tonight at graduation, we walked across the stage, I was sure going to miss him being here at the halls of Gatesville High School, at Taco Bell, where I see him frequently now. He stopped working there though, did he?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I wrote down that Nevin was selected as an outstanding performer at the UIL Texas State Ensemble competition. Again, he was named an outstanding performer back in 2024 as well. And so during the competition, each singer performs their memorized solo for a judge who gives them a rating. Additionally, each judge can designate certain spectacular performances to receive an Outstanding Performer Award. Only 2% of all the performances earn that honor. And so basically, it's like being called a state champion. So in recognition of that honor, each student is awarded a gold UIL state champion medal. And you may also recall, on the night of graduation, Nevin sang a solo during Bridge Over Troubled Water. Boy, that was fantastic. It was awesome. And so we were really proud of that too. And this fall, he'll be going to Prairie View A&M to study biology, and ultimately wants to become an anesthesiologist. So he will put us under when we need some surgical procedures. So we're very proud of Nevin. It's an amazing accomplishment. I know he'll go on and do other great things, and maybe he'll come back and visit us too. So.
We've had 5 outstanding performers in the 8 years I've been here. 2 were him.
2 were him.
Wow,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty rare. It's like this letter from UIL says how only 2% of students who do the solo ensemble process will become an outstanding performer. So to do it twice is pretty awesome.
Very unusual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see the statistics across the state, like how many kids can actually do that. But it's a very, very select group.
Yeah. The judges here every 6 minutes. They're hearing students sing all throughout the day, and then by the end of the day, they get to pick usually just one.
Yeah.
We've had 2 in 1 year before also, but so I don't know. I would have a really hard time. They're all so good,
Yeah.
but you know,
You
it's
plan
like
to continue your singing in college?
Yeah, I plan to do choir. I still have to talk to my advisor about it.
Wonderful.
Prairie View actually has a really good choral program.
I looked it up. They have.
American Idol.
Yeah,
Top
American Idol.
Maybe.
Yeah.
The anesthesiologist stuff doesn't work out.
Hey, every musician needs a day job.
That's
That's
right.
I would think as a
Anesthesiologist,
judge, when you see so many kids and you listen to that many like in one day, that someone really has to be a standout for you to remember them and think, that's the one, so I'm proud of you.
We took 12 students to state this year, and this was the best group we've had that attended state. They were all, I would say, flawless. You know, it's hard to sing
Yeah.
an art form, you know, and be practically perfect, but they were really, really well prepared. And I could tell she really liked him. She gave great feedback and gave him like a little voice lesson all right there on the spot. But I could just tell she liked him. And he just has such a powerful voice. One I will miss.
Yes.
For sure.
Well, nothing else get your.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Pass it on.
I thought the choir did such a good job during graduation.
Yes.
It was
That's very
beautiful. Yes.
It's really hard to sing on that football field.
With the echo and
Yeah,
everything,
the
I'm
echo
sure.
and the delay and the wind and
Just kept looking at you.
they're looking at me and they're like,
Yeah. If you were nervous, we couldn't tell it. Good.
it's good that there's not like a jumbotron where you could like zoom in on their faces
Right.
because all the knees
The
shaking, you
sweat.
can't see from the bleachers.
Yeah.
Especially because they don't really ever get a true sound check down there.
Yeah.
We're just kind of winging it.
Yeah. Yeah.
very proud of him.
Yeah,
But I
let's
have
get your
a
picture, yeah.
framed letter for him
Yeah,
and
yeah.
another one.
Sure, you can get the picture. We'll have a family photo with Ms. Wells and everybody here.
I didn't wear shorts today. Just
Yeah,
for this.
yeah, yeah.
Can we first? 1, 2, 3. Got it. Perfect.
Congratulations.
Good to see you. We'll see you around.
All right, take it easy, everybody.
Well, I'll try.
Good luck to you.
And Coach, y'all are free to leave, yes. Unless you want to stay for the boring part.
Yeah.
That's like, no, thank you.
I've got too much work to do.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Elton.
Seeing that no one has signed up for public
I appreciate what
comments.
y'all do for the newspaper for these kids.
Oh, yeah.
Because they never get any recognition.
Yeah.
Especially in the classroom.
That's right, that's right. Thanks, Coach.
No one has signed up for public comments, so we'll move on to 7. Public notice of intent to apply for federal programs grant by Yancey.
This is a yearly meeting that we, or public notice meeting that we have. And we apply for federal grants, several federal grants each year. And just give you a little summary that's easier to follow than my good presentation that I have to do sometimes. But it's meant to be a process where people are able to give feedback, and we had a stakeholder meeting on June 3rd where we had parents, teachers, administrators, school personnel involved and presented the information to them and asked for their feedback, and this is another public meeting to do that. And we have, you see on the paper that I had, we have 3 federal grants that we're going to apply for this year. That's the lowest number that we've done since I've been here. They just have kind of gotten away from grants. They didn't have any safety grants this year that were available. But they're the standard 3, the ESSA Title I, Special Educated Consolidated Grant, and then the Perkins, commonly called CTE grant. And those are our numbers. The number of parentheses is the number that the planning amount that we were given last year. The number not in parentheses is the planning amount we're given this year. And it is a planning amount. They project this is how much we think you will get, but it does change. Sometimes, luckily, it goes up, but it also does go down sometimes. And so hopefully these numbers will stay the same for us because it is very needed, especially in today's economic environment for schools. We also identified needs. I didn't give, this sheet is in your board packet, but I didn't have the handout for it, but it's just 9 needs that the school district has identified with that stakeholder group. And they're pretty consistent year over year because the school business doesn't change. Your needs are pretty much your needs. You need to hire good people. You need to keep the school safe. You need to support your students and your staff. And so we have those 9 overarching needs that the campuses narrow down into their specific needs when they do their improvement plan. So there's not an action item or anything here, it's just information. I'll answer any question you have about our grants, grant programs, how we use the money. We try to be as transparent as we can. We're not trying to keep anything secret or hide anything from anybody.
I hope we get them.
Hope we get them too. We're going to apply this. This is our final notice of intent to apply. I've already got the applications in working order, and tomorrow I'll be able to submit most of them. I won't be able to submit the special ed one just yet. We've got to wait on some more data for that one. But
I have a
Title I and Perkins, yes ma'am?
Where does the money come from? Who's giving the grants?
They're federal grants from the federal government, but they're passed through the Texas Education Agency. The Texas Education Agency actually gives them to us.
Yeah.
The federal government gives them to TEA. TEA gives them to us.
Got it. Okay.
That's how it works.
Does TEA pass through the whole amount, or do they keep a portion?
They keep a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Yancey gave a great example today about the seatbelt. Give them that example about how they.
So another grant that just became available that's not part of this process. If you remember a few sessions ago, I talked about seatbelt retrofitting for school buses, having a retrofit for school buses, and we had to get bids or estimates in that process. And the lowest estimate we got was $35,000 per bus. The state's releasing a grant for $6,000 per bus. That's the maximum they're gonna give you per bus, so.
And they wonder why districts are all in a budget crisis.
Yeah.
And I think they do a lot of that stuff intentionally.
So, luckily these grants are fairly consistent, because they do come from that seatbelt grant is a state grant, it's not a federal grant, and so they have a lot more control on how they manage those than the federal grants. I think they're required to pass through a certain amount, but I don't know that number off the top of my head.
So is it gonna be that they're gonna require seat belts for everyone?
That's what statute says right now, and we'll see when it becomes official, but they passed that in the last legislative session, and that's kind of what this grant was supposed to support, but they're not gonna be able to do much with it. So we'll see with another legislative session coming up, they may kick that can down the road, you never know. That's all I have for right now. I'll be back in a little bit.
Thanks, Heath.
The consent agenda are items that are naturally going on in the district that we don't spend much time with. If any board member wants to pull one, you may. Minutes of the May 12th meeting, minutes of the May 18th meeting, financial statements as of January, bills and payrolls for January, budget amendments, year-to-date budget amendments to fund balance, vital signs report, and food service report. Does anybody want to pull any of those? So I need a motion that we accept them. Okay, Charles, seconded by Emily. All in favor? Okay, now an information item on health insurance premiums. I'm sure our teachers are very interested in this.
They are. Hello, everybody. We spoke to our CBG, our Combined Benefits Group, and they said, be prepared that your health insurance premiums for your employees are going to go up. And so if y'all remember last year, they went up like $53 a person. And so we pay, as a district, we pay for employee only's basic premium on the lowest package that you can get for health insurance. And so last year it went up to $509, and so we really struggled to make that and to meet that, but we did. And so when we got the numbers in, we were disheartened a little because they came out to now $555 per person. So it's going up $46 a person per month. And so for us to cover all of that for everybody, it's another $253,000 added on to that $3.5 million that we already pay. So we worked really hard, and we've been working on the budget, and it's still in draft. In draft. And so we have skimmed, and we have trimmed, and we have trimmed, and we have trimmed really hard. And so right now, it looks like we're going to be able to cover that once more for everybody. And that's important to us because that is a direct benefit of our staff. We are working on a step raise for everyone, and that was going to take everyone's step raise away by the time they paid that difference in their insurance premiums per month. So we are working really hard to keep that, and we plan to pay the $553 a month for each staff member.
We're trying to keep the big four: the step raise, the insurance contribution, the $500 Christmas bonus, and the $150 for their school supplies. Because those are the four things that keep people in a good humor.
So you're gonna keep 3 out of the 4?
All four?
We're gonna keep all 4.
Okay.
That's our plan.
So you can do the step and the insurance.
We can do the step and the insurance. We did not want to take the insurance and leave it at $509, then that all their step raise money that they would get per month would go to their insurance premiums to make up the difference. And we did not want to do that if we could at all possibly stand. So we worked really hard to just get rid of everything we could so that we could do that.
Some districts aren't doing the step raise. Austin ISD, $181 million in the hole.
Quite a few people are doing the step raise. They're not, I mean, they're taking all benefits. It's scary what some other districts are doing.
So we're really, when you look at those, we're in great shape.
Is there anything that we had to drastically cut to get to here?
That's what I was wondering.
Through attrition, collapsing of positions. That's been the main thing. Because that's the main way. When 85% of your budget is personnel, that's how you do it. you can't save on enough Kleenex boxes to make a dent on things.
No, and we were very fiscally responsible everywhere else and tried to trim, but where it's gonna come from is salaries. So we were able to do that. Any other questions on the health insurance premiums? I don't know when it's gonna stop. I mean, it's doubled in the last 4 years for everybody. So they're paying $555 a month just to have insurance.
For one person.
For one person, that's
Yeah.
not including their family. If you look at the basic package for, if you have your employee and your family, the employee has to pay $1,332 a month to have their family, including their spouse, on there. So it's sad,
A month?
a month. And that's after we pay the $555. And that's the basic package. Any other questions on that? That was just an information item for y'all.
When you're trying to recruit people though, it's a great perk. That's a lot higher perk than a lot of districts.
I don't know that people realize that because that's a $555 that doesn't come out of your paycheck. If you have to, most districts pay just a portion of it and they have to pay the remainder. So we try to advertise that when we're hiring.
You start interviewing people, you need to emphasize that.
Mhm.
Because
For
it
sure.
doesn't, well, your salary is, but that's,
Yeah.
doesn't include that money for the health insurance.
I have a question about, like, if, say someone's spouse has a great job and has insurance covered, then they just don't get to take advantage of that,
Correct. That is correct.
In my business, I had some people like trying to, wanting me to pay, because I was paying for some, but some already had insurance, but they wanted me to add that to their salary.
We've had people ask that when we use that, yeah. When we use that as a perk for trying to hire somebody, we've had
Yeah.
people ask that, well, I don't need insurance, do I get that money? But we don't
Yeah,
do that.
But you don't, well, okay, I mean, that makes the most sense, but I just wondered.
We just can't afford to do it either.
Yeah,
Even if
no,
we wanted to, we can't.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, any more questions? We'll move on to discussion item about salary scales and compensation plan.
Okay, so the salary scales that are in here are the exact same salary scales that we rebuilt and did last year. And if y'all remember, we rebuilt them, number one, to have the teacher retention allotment in it with that extra 4,000 and 8,000 for the teachers. But also we revamped them, we kind of combined some of them together and we tried to make the steps a little bit more competitive for today's wages and inflation. And so we're keeping the same scales we built last year for this year, but everyone in the district will get a step raise. So they'll go up one step on their current salary. So it's roughly 3%, because some of our 0 to 10, their scale builds a little heavier than the back end, but it's roughly 3% for everyone. And so that is our goal, is to just give everyone a step raise and keep the same salary scale. So I recommend that we continue to use the same pay scales that we built last year and give everybody, every staff member, an increase by one step on their respective pay scale.
Any further discussion? Do I hear a motion to accept that recommendation? Okay, Emily, second, Lloyd, all in favor? Got it.
Thank you.
They'll be happy.
Yeah.
All right, let's send the choir to Branson.
Okay.
I might add the award-winning choir.
Yes, yes.
We took our students, well, the last time they had been on an out-of-state trip was back when Mr. Amon was the choir director. And I had been doing in-state trips, and then we had planned a trip to California, and then COVID happened, so we had to cancel it, and then we revived it. I guess that would have been 3 or 4 years ago now. Took it this last summer. It was a wonderful experience. The kids were wonderful, the parents were wonderful, everything went really, really well. And they got to see a lot of really cool things. I'm always blown away when they tell me, like, this is the first time I've ever left Texas. Wherever they're looking at the Grand Canyon, you know, and doing some really cool things. And they got to go to Disneyland and lots of cool places. So that went so well, I was like, okay, I'd be willing to do it again because, you know, it was a pleasant experience. So when talking about where we wanted to go, I wanted to do something that was not as far because that many hours on a bus, we were sleeping on the bus. In the aisles and hanging from the rafters and things. No, not really, but there was lots of sleeping on the bus. So I was like, I've never been to Branson, and Miss Petty had never been to Branson, and Miss Morris had never been to Branson. Like, it's on my bucket list. And anyways, I told the kids it's kind of like Nashville, Disney World, and Broadway, New York, all combined, and it's, you know, only a 10-hour drive, and they're like, sounds great. So I did get 2 different quotes from 2 different travel agents, one being the same guy who took us to California, also the guy that Mr. Sanchez and the band have used repeatedly over the years, and then another one through a retired choir director that's now a rep for a travel company. Kind of did similar itineraries, and the guy, Troubadour Consultants, which is the guy that took us to California, his was a much better price. So I can just give you the high points, or you want details, or high points? Okay. Trying to keep it under $1,000 to include everything. So all of their meals, their hotel, all the entertainment, to go take them to do things that they have never got to experience before, and as musically based as possible. You know, Branson is a lot about shows and live performance, and there's a performance opportunity at, I want to say, Silver Dollar City maybe has it. Yeah, Silver Dollar City has a performance opportunity, and we'll see if that works out for us too. Because I want the kid to get on the bus, go have all of the fun, and not have to bring a single dollar with them, and not miss out on anything. Of course, you know, spending money and shopping and those kinds of things are all on their own, but even like when we stop at a gas station along the 10-hour drive, you know, out to Branson, I want their meal to be included, because I don't ever want a kid to go hungry. It's one of those ask me how I know kind of things, because you give kids their allotment at the beginning, and by the last day they're starving because they spent it on a t-shirt. So I want to make sure everything's included for them, and I want them to have an amazing experience. So there's like dinner at Lambert's, dinner at Paschetti's.
Have you ever been to Lambert's?
I have been to Lambert's once on a choir trip.
So fun.
Yeah, they apparently, like, if you want rolls, they throw them at you.
Yeah.
And that's really fun with kids. And it's like served family style, so like bring big dishes to your table, which is great for a big group. Tickets, well, I want to do the Runaway Mountain Coaster. It's where you're like sitting in a seat and you're going on a roller coaster, but you're on the mountainside. You're not like...
I did it.
Yeah?
My life passed before my eyes.
Was it in Branson?
They tell you have a little brake. And
Yeah, you do.
Like, if
Yeah.
you're going too fast, just pull the brake.
Yeah.
I pulled my brake and it did nothing.
I think that sounds like that's on my bucket list too, so it's something I've always wanted to do. So that's on there. You know, these kinds of things, like I try to encourage the kids, like if you're scared, it's okay to be scared. Like I'm a little scared too. I ziplined in Broken Bow, Oklahoma last weekend. I was a little terrified, but I did it and I'm still standing. So I always tell them you can do hard things and it's okay to be scared. That means your brain is telling you that there's risk involved, you know, but there's safety measures and you're gonna be fine. And what I don't ever want them to do is go home and then sit there and look back and be like, man, I wished I had done that. I was too scared, and you know, so I'm always like trying to encourage them to go do the things. So tickets to Silver Dollar City and to the Family Fun Tracks, which is like go-karts in Branson, and then Titanic Museum, never been there. Dolly Parton Stampede Show, shopping at the Branson Landing, go see the Haygoods show. This one I'm super excited about because the Haygoods are all siblings, and they do like, they all play instruments and they all sing together and harmonize together, and it is like, I don't know how to describe it. Go look them up on TikTok. It's amazing. Their harmony, because they're all related to each other, and one plays fiddle, one plays piano, one plays drums, and there's like a whole family band, and so that'd be one of the shows we could go to. There's a big aquarium that they've got tickets in here for, and then I'm missing one. Oh, the Showboat Bell dinner cruise thing out on the water. So all that would be under $1,000. He's quoting us $806 right now. We're still tweaking things. The bus is its own thing right now. It's priced at, you know, like $10,000 just for a charter bus to go that many miles and keep us going that many days. So if we break the bus back into the per kid cost, we're sitting at $1,000, but it's going to be our goal as a booster club to fully pay for the bus and then lower the kids' cost. So when we did California, it was $1,500, and we did it over 2 years worth of payments. This one would be, I want to start it in July. Go ahead and let the registration portal open in July so they can get started on payments. And if we do 10 payments of $100 a month, that kind of spreads it out, makes it more affordable. And then we do a ridiculous amount of fundraising. Sometimes the fundraising goes to the booster club, sometimes it goes to the choir as a whole, sometimes it goes to the student and they get the credit for what they're earning, but it all comes back to them being able to go do this. So we have about 80 something students in high school choir. A bus seats 55, so we cap it at 55. I was a little worried that when we were doing the California trip that we were going to have more than 55, but we ended up with 50, and it was perfect. There was a couple empty seats which made it a little bit flexible, and there wasn't anybody who had really wanted to go or deserved to go that didn't get to go. The people who needed to go and wanted to go made it happen. And those that it wasn't important to them or their parents didn't want them to, they weren't able to, and nobody's feelings were hurt. It was all good. So there will be people who choose not to go, and that's okay.
Will parents be on the charter bus too? Or
That's how we did with California.
Yeah.
Yeah, we let the kids sign up first, and then we let the parents who were like involved in all the boostering, you know, that helped support our organization have the chance to choose whether or not they wanted to go, and then we opened it up to parents outside of that, and we had the perfect number. I think we had 11 adults when we went to California, and a total of 50 people, and it was great. So, any questions?
So we recommend the board approve the out-of-state trip request made by the Gatesville High School Choir.
Any further questions? Did I hear a motion? Okay, Lloyd, a second. Okay, we've got a second from Cheyenne. Any further? All in favor? All right.
Thanks, Sheree.
Thank you. I'll
So
let you know if we have any
a-
empty seats.
You have 1 week, 2 weeks, and then you have to start fundraising.
Yeah, we have a bake sale already scheduled for July, so
All right.
You know,
money.
Coach Phillips' son-in-law and his daughter
Yes.
live in Branton.
We've talked.
Yeah, I'm sure. he's
Yeah,
got some
I
good
text
tips.
several people, you know, who I know like frequently there. I'm like, tell me your go-to, like what do we have to go do? And of course, the travel agent had ideas too, because I want to go make sure they do all the big things. So I think we're staying at or he's got a schedule to stay at the Thousand Hills Resort. I googled it; it looks really cool. You know, because big hotels, they're like, whoa.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
good.
awesome. Yeah.
Well, thanks, Sheree.
Thank y'all.
Yeah.
All right, well, get out of here.
Enjoy what break you have left.
Yes.
Yeah. Sure.
All right, we're going to talk about safety and security.
Another handout. This is a presentation on the safety and security audit, 3-year audit that is due for the district this year. The audit itself is 31 pages long, and I'll be happy to go through all the pages if you want, but I created a 2-page summary so we don't have to go through all of it, and then after I need to go on, sorry.
I'm recording Wheel of Fortune now, so you can
That's right.
as long as you want.
We, with the help of the personnel at each campus and school police officers, we conducted our mandatory 3-year audit, and it's pretty extensive. These are the 6 main categories on the first page of what the audit reviewed: law enforcement, security, emergency management planning, bullying prevention, school safety and security committee, behavior threat assessments, and a few other random that didn't fit in one of the big buckets. But we were compliant with everything. The audit reviewed that we were compliant. We have everything that they asked us to have. But if you go to your second page, it did also reveal just a couple of areas, opportunities for growth, some things that we can do better, and most of it dealt with documentation. And how we're doing that, but where are we writing down that we're doing that? How are we noting that we're doing that? And so we've updated some, traumatic injury protocol paperwork and some planning activities. We had a bomb threat call protocol, but it was old. And so we've updated that and make sure all our front office have that, and just some things like that. Maybe it's easier for me to answer questions than just to give you information. So if you have any specific questions, I'll answer whatever you want to know. And we did present this to the Safety and Security Committee on June 9th, I believe it was, and they have to sign off on it and approve it before I can bring it to you guys. And then if you guys approve it, I will submit it to the state tomorrow. The recommendation would be to approve the 23 through 26 3-year safety audit for submission to the state.
Any further questions? Do I hear a motion? Okay, Charles, second. Cheyenne, anything else? All in favor? Okay, moving on to the on-ramps.
This is a yearly action item where we approve the memorandum of understanding with UT on-ramps, which is part of our advanced courses we offer at the high school, where the student is dual enrolled in both the high school and in UT. Our teachers are trained to be able to conduct the class and lead the class according to that college syllabus. And the memorandum of understanding is the routine. There hasn't been any changes to it. The costs to us are still the same. And so the recommendation is to approve the interlocal agreement with UT at Austin so that our students may take advantage of college coursework offered through the on-ramps program. We project about 70 students will participate this coming school year.
Any further questions? Do I hear a motion? Okay, Charles, second. Emily, all in favor? Okay, staff development. I'm sorry, student athletes.
Yeah, so in line with those advanced courses, every year you have to approve a list of courses that have a different grade level for no pass, no play. And so for the advanced courses that are listed or attached to this in your book is all the courses from dual enrollment, dual credit in our honors program, and it's a 60 passing rate for no pass, no play. That lowers it from a 70, the routine 70 passing rate, and that's to incentivize people to take those courses. You still have to have 70 to earn credit in the class, but in order to play with UIL and participate, it's leveled at 60. So the recommendation is to approve the list of advanced courses and minimum grade requirement for UIL participation during the 26-27 school year.
I support that 100%, but I also want to take note that when we look at the student handbook this year, we look at extracurricular activities in regard to no pass, no play. Because we have people sitting in the auditorium that have rehearsed all year with their choir or their band, and they can't get on stage because our local says if you're not passing everything, you can't perform. That would be like saying you can't take this chemistry test because you're not passing math. What happens in math has nothing to do with band or choir or what, so that's not on this agenda, but I'm just warning you, I'm going to be talking about it.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I understand they can participate as long as it is not an admission charge.
Right. Or it's not a contest.
Yeah.
But UIL now has changed their wording to evaluation. So it's UIL sight reading and singing evaluation, not contest.
And Ms. Wells has helped us rewrite it to match to her liking.
So anyway.
Have we had problems with kids in the honors making 70s?
Well, we've had it at 60 for the honors classes for decades. No, they're able to make it.
You know,
Yeah.
and I think I said this last board meeting, I think our coaches do an excellent job promoting grades.
And typically those kids that are in those classes are extremely high performing. They make, even in those hard classes, they make A's and B's.
That's what I
Okay,
expect.
any more discussion? Do I hear a motion? Okay, Emily, and a second by Lloyd. All in favor? Got it.
Thank you.
All right, I've got the last 5 items. First one is the staff development minutes waiver. So Laura Lamb in our team's office every year, we write this waiver so we can offer professional development during the year, and it counts towards those instructional minutes, and so that helps with our calendar. And we offer actual training to the teachers on those mornings that we have those PD days, and so we keep track of it, and that way it helps with our minutes that we do. And so I recommend the board approve pursuing the staff development minutes waiver like we do every year.
Hear a motion? Lloyd, second. Charles, all in favor? Okay. Next one.
Talk about early dismissal. So as you may remember, a couple of months ago, we've moved our start and end date a little bit. And so basically the kids are going to start school a little later and get out a little bit later. And remember, if someone questions you about, why did y'all do that? It's because we're trying to help the athletes and the band and all those people that do the stuff in the morning to get the lion's share of their practice done in the morning. So in the afternoon, they can watch film or do some things and avoid that horrific heat that's happening. And just as an aside, the wet bulb requirement from UIL will no longer be a suggestion. It will be the law of the land. Texas is the 50th and last state to adopt it. Every other state has already adopted that. And so we've got to make sure that we get the hot, horrible stuff done in the morning, so that way when it gets to the afternoon, there's not as much riding on it. You can do stuff like weightlifting and film watching and stuff like that. And so anyway, all of that to say, We need to adjust the early dismissal time a little bit because you start a little bit later and you end a little bit later. So pre-K would be at 12:35, kinder through third, 12:50, the 3 upper campuses 1 o'clock, and then the 2 specialties, DAP and wings, at 12:50. And so I think the kids will like it. Kids typically like sleeping in a little bit later and getting, especially teenagers, their rhythm is to get up later and stay up later. And so we're hoping the kids will like it. But I'm recommending these early dismissal times for the 26-27 school year to be approved as presented.
Are the long-term ramifications are that we'll eventually probably need to build some kind of a covered practice area?
Possibly.
'Cause a lot of the schools are doing that.
Yeah.
So that when the bulb goes off, they can move to the area that's shaded.
Yeah, it's a real predicament. And Coach Aguirre's looked into those covered awnings, and they're horrifically expensive. They're
Well, the
extremely
turf,
expensive.
the turf also makes it all much hotter too.
Yeah.
Across the board.
Okay, any further questions?
Can you get labor donated to fix those
Possibly,
things?
possibly. But a covered workout area would be so huge, it would be basically you'd need almost the size of the whole football field.
Yeah.
It has to be a high roof like
Yeah. In order to throw the ball.
Let's just build a dome
whatever.
on top of
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So those are the types of things that may have to come in the future. But all that being said, I do think with early morning practice, starting a little bit later in the morning, Coach Aguirre feels a lot better about his situation because I think he said 23 practices last year got canceled or interrupted. That's hard to,
23?
yeah.
Man.
Hence why we switched athletics to first period and then the fallout from that. But again, it was a student safety issue that trumps everything. There were 2 students that died of heat strokes last year in Texas, 2 athletes. And we talked to Jamie Harrison, the head of UIL, about all that. And he said now those 2 students had underlying health conditions too. But still, it's a tragedy anytime a kid passes away, especially from something that is seemingly preventable. So we want to make sure we don't. Cross-country runners, always think about them. It's so hot to be running. Of course, they're not wearing the pads and things that our football players are. And even the band kids too, they're on that hot pavement and that asphalt, and you got your tuba and your heavy equipment. These kids, they do some tough
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Do I hear a motion? Okay, Emily. A second. Okay, Lloyd. All in favor? And it passes.
Next is our MOU with Central Counties. That's what we used to call MHMR, and they are a good provider. They are another one of those entities that help us with the mental health. We're still getting, even in the summer, mental health outcries, middle of the night, weekends, anonymous tips where other kids are worried about fellow classmates doing something to themselves. And so we have to drop everything, contact police, home visits, check on them middle of the night to make sure that they're not hurting themselves. And so it never stops. Even during the summer, we're doing it. And so I am, though, glad that other kids are worried about them and they're making outcries and checking on them. So we certainly we want to be diligent in pursuing all of them. We take all of them seriously. So, but it's just a shame that our kids have the mental health issues that they do. So that being said, MHMR, Central County Services, that's another great entity to give us some extra health care, and they work on referrals, and we've had a relationship with them for years and years and years. They cover a lot of counties too. I think they're very spread out over a lot of different areas. So my recommendation would be to renew the MOU with Central Counties for the 26-27 school year.
Do I hear a motion? Charles? Second, Lloyd. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, and then policy update.
Well, twice a year we get those big, huge stacks of paperwork in the mail from TASB Legal, and they've got a huge stack again of policy updates, and they're our trusted legal source in addition to our actual lawyers. But TASB, their lawyers skim over that stuff, make sure it's all kosher legally, and then what we do is we adopt those policies to make sure our policies stay up to date with all the changing legislation. So luckily right now we're not in a legislative session, but they're still playing catch up from all the hundreds of laws that they passed last year related to education. And so TASB Legal, they keep us legal and out of trouble and keep our policy up to date, so we're very appreciative that they do this very tedious work. And so I would recommend the board replace, add, and delete all those local policies as described in update 127.
Do I hear a motion? Charles, a second. Cheyenne, all in favor? Okay, now library purchases.
Last thing, speaking of, this was another one of those legislative products that came out of the last legislative session. We have to post anything we buy in the library on the website for 30 days to give the parents a chance to look at it, comment on it. We've gotten no comments. Maybe someone has viewed it, I don't know. But I guess it's a good idea in theory, just there's more oversight. But we've never had any books challenged. We don't buy controversial titles. I think our librarians do a great job of buying just good old-fashioned books that are used for reading and entertainment. So tonight we have a list of materials from elementary and intermediate. They've gone through the waiting period and the viewing period, and now I recommend the board approve the materials as presented so the items can be purchased.
Any further questions? Do I hear a motion? Okay, Emily, second. Cheyenne, all in favor? Okay, it is 6:16. We'll go to executive session.
Thank you all.